Hey, welcome back everyone. So in this video, I'm just going to show the artwork as it's being inked and colored. Been absolutely loving the Invincible series, but this video I actually want to talk about something else. I thought it'd be kind of funny to talk about AI since I'm drawing a character with AI. It's my attempt at humor. So, but the current state of AI, and these are just my opinions. I know it's going to tick some people off, hopefully not too badly. I'm going to stay a little bit middle of the row. I mean, honestly, I could get a lot more heated about this stuff, but I'm not trying to do that. But essentially what I want to talk about is why I think the real ramification and detriment to all this stuff is to the newer artists, and why I think that newer artists need to be very careful, tread lightly on how they use this stuff, how widely they adopt it, because they might just circumvent their own transformation. Okay? Now, one of the reasons why I thought this particular video would even tie into it well, besides the AI little comment there, but the Invincible comic, right? If you ever get a chance to check out the Invincible comic and to see the heights it's achieved now with the animated series, if you look at the very beginning, the book started off amazing. I'm not saying it isn't, but look from the very beginning to the very end, or look through the whole darn series, and realize that their transformation was huge. The quality of art, it got so much better. The character development, all of it got better because of the huge body of work, in my opinion. I guess opinions vary, but that's my opinion. To me, you can't circumvent that form of self-development in any regard. You can't get stronger by lifting a weight here and there and then thinking about lifting weights. You might get a little stronger by thinking about it. I guess there's some mind over matter there. But you got to go there and do the work, right? And you can't get smarter by reading the cover to books. You got to read the books, right? Like, all of it's pretty simple. Like, you can't beat self-development if you want better skills and to be a better artist. You're a craftsman. You're like a guy building houses. You can't build a beautiful house if you don't build a bunch of smaller structures to figure out how to build that big, beautiful house. And you're going to make a ton of mistakes along the way. As an artist, I have boxes and boxes of bad art. I always talk about this. I don't think there's any way I would have got to this level. And I'm not saying I'm some great artist, but I had to do a bunch of horrendous artwork to even get here. I still draw bad pieces to this very day, and I just keep going. Because the other part that you get through this process of development is that you just get this hard work ethic. You're never going to complete a comic if you can't mess up a few pages and then figure it out, right? You're going to have all these mistakes, and how you circumvent the mistakes is what makes you dangerous, what makes you a great artist, I think. Like, perspective drawing is a pain. Well, you got to draw a bunch of awkward perspectives and go, wow, what is going on here? Why isn't this right? And then you got to check out books, and you got to read through those, and you got to do step-by-steps with that. Any artist that's gotten anywhere knows this stuff, right? It's like, I'm sure there's some people out there that just were amazing from the very start, and maybe they don't apply. Maybe that's all talent and skill, or natural born skill. I had to earn my skills through pain and suffering, basically. No, I love it. I love drawing. I love the pursuit of getting better. It's really the most exciting part to me. But I think that what people are losing sight of is that AI is going to circumvent that in a way. It's really a distraction in my mind. And so I have always been an early adopter of tech, and maybe that's to my detriment. When I came into the sign industry, they had these vinyl cutters out. I know I've probably already said this story a bunch of times, but just to give you guys an idea that I've seen it before, vinyl cutters came out, Photoshop hit the scene, right? And there was a bunch of mad old sign painters. Older, I don't mean like they were really that old, but they were the previous generation of creatives. And they were ticked. They were like, look, this ain't right. We have worked really hard to develop our skills over the years. These things are flat out wrong. I mean, they pretty much thought they were evil. And I get it now. And at the time, I didn't, because I was a young early adopter. That's the other thing, that tech is really good at marketing to us. That, hey, new tech's for the next generation, right? I mean, it works, right? Like, of course, you're going to be more receptive. Your mind's like a sponge. You're not so dogmatic in your belief system, and you're not going to, be so offended by these new changes. Change is more scary when you're older, right? So anyways, they were mad about this stuff, and then I was conflicted because I'm like, wow, I really liked it. I can draw in Photoshop. I had scanned my artwork for the first time, and I was like in utter awe. You can take your art and scan it, and it magically goes into this box computer. It was just so cool, right? So I remember being so impressed with the scanner. It was old. It was slow. It was like, bang. It took forever, and then but you slowly saw the artwork pop up on the screen, and then you jumped into something like Photoshop and started editing it, and it was like pure magic to me. But not to the previous art generation. And so now we spin that forward, and obviously there's a lot of stuff in between smartphones and all sorts of techie devices. I mean, I'm drawing this one, it's obviously a time lapse, but I'm inking and coloring it. I did start traditional, as you could see, but I'm using a Wacom and software, Clip Studio, and I'm making all this happen, right? And I do love that. I do wonder if I subsequently became part of the problem, though. But, so spin this forward. All these things have changed. Now we got AI on the scene, and you got a bunch of young early adopters, obviously. But I think the real detriment and ramifications is going to be to their dismay. I think it's going to hurt them the most. And the reason being is that I look at it like all the fundamentals of art are like the lower steps on a ladder. And if you don't learn those fundamentals, and I mean step by step, hand-drawn, day in, day out, with mistakes and with corrections, then how in the world are you going to develop the skill set? Now, maybe I just can't fathom it. Maybe by observation alone and what AI can do and can't do, people will just make better and better art. I don't know. I don't see that. I don't know how that's even possible, because I guess I just look at the road that I had to travel. But again, I associate it with all the other steps to doing something great. Like to write a wonderful novel, you have to throw a bunch of pieces of pages in the trash, right? You have to make edit upon edit, iteration upon iteration, and through that, the magic happens. I think that happens evidently in art and anything at all. Like, the part where somebody walks up and they fix your washing machine. I don't know what to compare it to, but they come up and they fix something, and you're like, whoa, that was cool. That looks so easy for you. And they're like, yeah, well, and they're thinking in their head, yeah, well, you didn't see the 200 times I messed up or whatever. That same thing with art. People will constantly tell me, Rob, you make this look so easy. And I'm like, oh, if you could just look through the boxes of bad art that I have. I mean, the story it would tell you. And I think that that's the part that most people are going to lose if they just keep adopting these technologies as, well, this just makes more sense. It's faster. Like I think all these tech companies, one of the things that they always sell us these ideas on, they did it with the drawing devices. Again, I feel like part of the problem there, but whatever. I think that as long as you use them sparingly and you use them in a way where you're still drawing on paper, you're still not overly relying on the tools in front of you, that's really the best plan of approach. Like even with this AI stuff, if you do choose to be some sort of early adopter or you utilize it, I mean, just do yourself a service and make sure that you could still shut all this stuff off and work if you're, I always tell people, like, work like if your power went out. Like, can you still draw some pictures? Then, all right, that's cool, I mean, and I would really pride yourself on that part of your ability. Versus saying, oh man, my software is not working, or I didn't pay my subscription-based model and now I can't create my art. That's a sad way to be. I would never want to give away a part of myself or see any artist give away a part of their own self-development for another monthly subscription model. I mean, that just sounds gross. But, so the thing is that be careful how much you really do integrate this into your life, and don't let them tell you that it's just the way it is, and there's only this future, and there's no other possible scenario. You got to figure that's marketing for these companies that are trying to become profitable. They're not even profitable. All of them are hemorrhaging billions, probably trillions of dollars in shareholder money at this point. So it's all like, soon to be profitable, right? And I'm sure it will be in pockets. I mean, I know it will be in pockets. I mean, I don't want to de-hype how big of a technology this really is. I think that would be silly. But actually, I don't want to buy into the overhype that they're doing just to attract, again, shareholder money and you can look at all that. But essentially, I think that the part where we all just silence it at times and just do more of what we do, I think that's how we bring back our own power. Like, you have to just be creative, right? And you got to be excited to create. And if you're too awfully concerned with AI, with what AI can do, then you're probably not focusing enough on what you can do. So, it's just like blaming somebody. If you point the finger, you got 3 pointing back at you, right? You're giving away your power to who you blame. If you blame AI, you're giving away your power. If you focus on what you bring to the table, things like your style that you worked hard to develop, right? The story behind your art. So as you're drawing it and painting it, share more of that story. Show the sketches behind the scenes. Show the mistakes before you got to the good one. Whatever. Like, that's your story. That is a personal and real thing that AI cannot even touch. Original art. You see with this one, I started with some original art. Yeah, I converted it to digital because I like to work in there as well, but I still have that original piece. AI cannot do that. The moment a robot holds a pencil, that's a printer, folks. That's not original art. So anyways, just sort of remember that all these things give you power. When you focus on what you bring to the table as a human, that's your story, and that story is powerful. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. As always, good luck with the art, and bye for now.